Okay, back on the ground. I think it's time to hear this car for the first time. Let's get it started up. Manual modes. Well, we'll go race, not Sport Plus. Hey guys, it's Luke here and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the A45S AMG. I'm absolutely loving this thing at the moment. It is so much fun. It's really coming along very, very nicely indeed. We've got a bit of a road trip today. Road trip way up north. We're heading up to Sheffield to visit my friends at Cobra Sport. Because as you can see from the title and thumbnail, it's time for a new exhaust on this car. Now when we do get to Cobra, it's actually their new HQ as well, which I'm very excited to see and show you. But once we're there, I'll explain the plan of what we're doing and also what's already on the car, because I know that we have done some exhaust upgrades already. But yeah, despite that, on our way to Cobra Sport for a new exhaust on the A45. We are off the motorway, the M1 to be exact, and closing in on Cobra. In fact, we're actually pretty much a mile away. I've just been flicking through some of the menus on here because this is the first real big drive. I mean, I've been driving this morning for 3 hours and 10 minutes and I have averaged 38.7 miles per gallon. That is actually really good. Not bad for a 500 horsepower hot hatch. It's not very comfy though, and I do say that in a number of videos. It's these seats, they look great, but I don't know, they're just not that comfy. In fact, the seats in the Golf are genuinely comfier, the Tillets. But anyway, that is besides the point. Where you're, oh, hang on, there's too many menus on this. I am now confused. There we go, back to where I want it. Yeah, literally just up here, we have our exit, and then we'll be arriving at Cobra. Okay, here we are at the brand new Cobra HQ, and straight off the bat, we're joined with Jake from Cobra. Mate, good to see you.
Welcome, Mr.
At the new shiny place.
We do indeed. Research and development, custom exhaust and fitting.
Awesome.
We have still got the site at Surbiton Street, which I'm sure you'll remember.
Yep, the original site, yeah.
So yeah, this will be our customer experience centre.
Awesome, yeah, and we'll have a little look round in a moment, but of course this is the first time you've physically seen the A45S. There is already the Sports Cat, which I'll tell you what, I'll go in and open the bonnet so we can take a look under here. So this was fitted probably a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. It's going a really nice colour now as well.
Oh yes.
So we've got the 200 cell Cobra Sport Sports Cat. It's running just shy of 500, as I'm sure you know, 499.5 if I'm being exact, which is not bad for just a stage 2.
No, very impressive. And again, obviously interesting to see what Mercedes managed to do with the 2-litre engine stock. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course we are here today for the rest of the exhaust, the catback, which we'll show everyone in a moment. But yeah, no, it's good to show you the car and for you to see the Sports Cat, because this was the first Sports Cat fitted, wasn't it, this one?
Again, I obviously hadn't really seen it as it left the factory, so it was your video to see the first one. But good to know it's working well and you know, giving figures to what we'd kind of expect with the Euro 6. And,
absolutely, yeah. It sounds great as well. Yes. It sounds really, really good, which of course is going to be enhanced today, but I think we'll show everyone around.
Let's do it.
And then we'll get the car all inside and get the fitting underway.
Fantastic. Welcome aboard, you can come in. So this is our reception area.
Oh wow, look at this. So these are all the different tips you can opt for, basically.
Indeed, and then a few more on the bottom just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we mentioned, we've moved all the custom work up to this site.
Yep.
So it will be research and development and custom fitting, any retail direct fits that want to come up here as well. Speaking of custom, we've got a very nice TBR Tuscany.
Okay, yeah.
Have a look round there.
Let's have a look at that. Oh yeah, here we go.
So this is the Tuscan in question. As you can see, Mark's nicely busy working out what looks like quite a tight routing on this one.
So if someone were to come in and literally say, look, I've got this car, I want this doing to it, you say, well, we don't make it as such, but we can make it for you.
Yeah, exactly that. I do believe it had some form of aftermarket system on at some stage. Essentially, We're leaving the cats where they are, replacing pipework from behind there.
Well, these sound great when they're all opened up, don't they?
Sound absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I don't blame the guy for getting his system done on it.
No, definitely not. So yeah, essentially apart from pipework, the 2 small silencers will be replaced with a resonator from ourselves.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So we should hopefully bring a similar level of silence in, but just really tone up the sound it's making.
Awesome.
So that's custom work. Obviously yours is going to be more a direct fit of an actual product, which we've just got laid out here. So if memory serves me correctly, for the catback section, resonated, valved.
Yes, exactly that.
With back box.
Yeah.
Because we do quite a lot of variations for the A45S. Obviously, because you've already got your sports cat downpipe on, you're probably going to want a good bit of silencing in there.
Exactly, that was my thinking.
Because again, one of the more popular options for the A45S is just the Venom catback as such.
Yeah, keep it somewhat sensible.
Yes.
We're just enhancing the sound. It's going to make a big difference.
Indeed.
That's for sure.
And obviously the main differences to what you're going to have from the stock. Upgraded pipeworks, it's T304 stainless. Obviously TIG welding on all your elements, as you can see. Very pretty colours and will stand the test of time. And I'm hoping that this extra flow that you might achieve from the rest of the exhaust system could have you making 500
that's true.
next time
we
you
only
hit the
need to
dyno.
make a half a horsepower to get it over the 500, which I'm sure this will do.
So yes,
but yeah,
aside from obviously your gearbox, etc., that we can't help with, this extra flow might just tip it over.
Very true, very, very true. But yeah, I suppose next step is to start the dismantling and the removal of the OEM system, and then getting this one fitted. There we go then, one A45S with no catback fitted. And of course down here at the moment we have both systems lined up basically, so I can go through and compare them. I think it's pretty obvious which one is the system which has come off the car. But yeah, essentially what I've gone for mine is a resonated and valved system. I wanted that purely because you can then switch over the factory valve controller unit onto the new system, meaning when you change from Comfort to Sport or Sport Plus or any of those, the valves will then be functional. Of course, it works both ways, so then when you go back into Comfort, the valves will then close, meaning that the exhaust is nice and quiet. We still have a back box, as you can see, a much smaller back box than the OEM one, so that's going to obviously enhance the sound, but I believe when the valves are open, it will act a bit like a back box delete in terms of it just being straight through. So the valves were something which was essential for me, a really nice feature to have that. It's all 3-inch all the way through. You can see going through the center section up to the resonated section, and this, as you can see, compared to the factory one, a much smaller resonator, but still something which is going to restrict a little bit of the sound, so it's not too much, especially on motorways and things like that. With the car obviously already having a sports cat in place, I didn't want it to be too mad, too crazy, hence why I've opted for the valved and resonated system for the car. I mean, this is a huge back box, and actually the OEM system as a whole is very, very restrictive. I mean, there's a lot of pinch points, as we can see down here, and also things like the resonator, the OPF and the original cat were also very restrictive, as well as this massive back box as well. But obviously what we need to do is change over the valve controller onto the new system. I think some things up towards the flexi pipe as well needs to change over, and then it'll be time to get this fitted on the car. But one thing I do want to mention, which I imagine some of you guys will be asking, is to do with the tips. Now, these are actually fake tips on this car, and as for most AMGs as well. It's actually, as you can see, just one single pipe on both exhausts, which basically situates in the middle of both on either side. So these tips, I don't know if you can change them, to be honest. They're nice tips anyway, so they're not going to change. So basically, if we go around here, you can see where it links up from the underside. But yeah, let's get this all fitted up, start the rebuild process, and then we can hear what this thing sounds like. Okay, and as if by magic, everything is all fitted up. The car now has an exhaust again.
Indeed it does.
Looking really cool. It's a shame that when you get an exhaust, you've got to hide it underneath the car, really, isn't it? Because it does look cool.
Especially when you've got beautiful TIG welds on like ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
All nice and shiny.
Absolutely, but
no,
yeah, it's cool to see it all fitted as well, actually. But yeah, I mean, having a bit of a run through again, just basically to see it all fitted now. Obviously, we've got the sports cat, as we've mentioned. And
then, yeah, down into your catbacks, obviously, as mentioned, resonated section, just to keep the tone down a little.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you don't go for the resonated one, it's straight piped there.
Yeah.
Then, obviously, straight pipe all the way through to your back box, just to give you a little bit more silencing. And then, obviously, your valves, which are in operation as they would have been from the factory.
Yeah.
But if all this talk, resonators, valves, etc., is not really making much sense, feel free to head to our YouTube page, Cobra Sport, and you can check out our exhaust talk episodes where we basically explain all the exhaust terminology that might help
all the ins and outs of it, basically. So you can find a link to that down in the description, along with actually the whole range of A45S exhaust parts, which these guys offer as well, which is everything that's on the car, actually, because we've got now a full turbo back system on it. So yeah, all the details for that can be found down below as well. But I'm pretty eager to hear the car, understandably. So I think we'll get it down and yeah, hear what it sounds like and go from there.
Let's make some noise.
Okay, back on the ground. I think it's time to hear this car for the first time. Let's get it started up. Okay. God, it's a lot deeper actually. This is obviously running the cold start as well. Couple of little revs. And with this obviously being a valve system, we can close the valves, as you heard there. A little bit quieter again, so that's basically what you would expect in comfort mode. We'll let it finish the cold start sequence, let it warm up a little bit more, and then we'll give it some beans, and then of course it's time to take it for a spin. Okay, car has been warming up. We'll now give it an emotion start, so the loud start, and then get some proper revs out of this. Oh, a few little pops of smoke out the back, by the way, don't worry, just because it's a fresh exhaust. Let's get some revs. Nice couple of pops out the back, but anyway, I'm gonna hop in. I now have a fairly fun but long drive home. I have a little first drive of this, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so the thing is with this car, my number one observation is it comes alive when it is on the move. Now, as I mentioned, I do have a very long drive home, however, it is mainly motorway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a proper first drive, but I am just so eager to see what it's like. We will get some driving scenes now. Window down a little bit, I think is a good idea. It's such a deeper tone. It's one thing I have noticed for sure. Car is already warm though. It sounds angry. It's interesting because the pops are obviously the same because the car hasn't been mapped in any different way compared to what it was like before, but the pops are deeper now because of the different bore of the exhaust and everything like that, and the change in restriction, and it makes it sound a lot more refined. Obviously, literal first impressions, I've driven about half a mile. And it's not over the top. That's the one thing I didn't want to do with this car. I didn't want to go over the top with the noise. I'll tell you what, let's pop it back into comfort. This is the real test. Just see what it's like. 70 miles an hour on the dot, no drone. Exactly. Oh, I wasn't even in top gear. Now we're in 8th. That is exactly what we want. Slow it down a little bit. What a riot. What a riot. A big thank you, of course, goes to the whole team at Cobra Sport for not just today, actually, for, of course, the Sports Cat as well. So essentially, we now have a full turbo back Cobra Sport system on the car. We have a 200 cell Sports Cat, as we mentioned, And we also have the resonated and valved back box. And talking about the valves, I'm actually going to pop it down into cruising mode, comfort. Valves have now automatically closed, and we can chill. As I mentioned with Jake a little earlier on, you can find all the details down below for Cobra Sport, their full A45S range, and also a link to their YouTube channel down below. But for me today, that is going to wrap things up. I will do a proper exhaust montage, first drive kind of thing, and I will do that very soon, just because the M1 southbound is not the ideal place to really showcase an exhaust. And so yes, that is going to wrap things up from me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please do make sure you leave a like. Changing lanes, Laurie's in the middle lane, that's great. And make sure you're subscribed for all the adventures still to come.